'cause you've been raving terror, stoking up fears from deep in your lair. We're here to tell you that your time has come. This is our kingdom today.
Who are the fools who would dare threaten me?
Dragon can fall, we'll slay you with our mighty sword. Dragon can fall, your heart will soon be ours. Dragon can fall, you are the beast we're training for. We are the party who dare threaten you. We have no fear of your ancient power. Your weapon fire will not make us cower. We're here to tell you that the spells are cast. You will not last the night.
You are the fools who will now feel my wrath.
Dragon can fall, we'll slay you with our mighty sword. Dragon can fall, your heart will soon be ours. Dragon can fall, you are the beast we're training for. We are the party who now will fight back. Quick, grab the magic bow. All distracted. You'll never defeat me, dragon.
Prepare to meet your doom.
Dragon can fall. We slayed him with our mighty swords. Dragon can fall. His heart will now be ours. Dragon can fall. He was the beast we're training for. We are the party who claim victory. From the depths of the dungeons to the tavern brawls, save the king, killed the giant. We've been through it all. I could fill up a tome, but you're not coming home. Well, we all saw it happen. We're the ones you saved. Gonna light you a candle. Gonna tell your tale by the light of the moon. We'll remember you, dying a hero. Tried to help you with that diamond, but it wouldn't save your soul. On that fateful day, the evil wizard came. Now everybody in this realm is singing out your name. Can you hear us sitting out there in the astral plane? Our adventures together went to hell and back. Spent the day slaying dragons and escaping traps, but massive damage is done. Now you're really gone. But we'll remember you, dying a hero. Tried to help you with that diamond, but it wouldn't save your soul. sitting out there in the astral plane. Sitting out there in the astral plane. Can you hear us? Sitting out there in the astral plane. We've come on down to the tavern for trouble and for fun, and to talk about the old prophecy. And we all sing songs at the tavern of the fights that we have won, and we dream about our next victory. Come away, adventure calls today, and tomorrow we'll tell of our tale. Come away, we'll see that dragon slain. But before we go, let's drink one more ale. Well, we won't burn down the tavern like the times we did before. It was not our fault, we swear honestly. But we'll do our dance at the tavern with the bards who've traveled far, and we'll ask them of the places they've seen. Come away, adventure calls today, and tomorrow we'll tell of our tale. Come away, we'll see that dragon slain. But before we go, let's drink one more ale. I feel the call of the world far outside, and the glory that soon could be ours. Let's form a team and we'll take to the wild, and we won't burn down the tavern. No, we won't burn down the tavern. No, we won't burn down the tavern. Come away, adventure calls today, and tomorrow we'll tell of our tale. Come away, we'll see that dragon slain. But before we go, let's drink. But before we go, let's drink. But before we go, let's drink one more ale.
Hello, welcome to Office Hours, team. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having a great day. I am excited to be here with you to answer any questions, to kind of go over what's new, what's happening, and hopefully we get very few tech issues today. I think we solved them. Well, knock on wood. I realized what the tech issue was last time. I thought I had fiber internet. Turns out I did have fiber internet. It was just broken. But now that that's fixed, team, it's Friday the 13th, Spooky Friday. I'm glad to be here with all of you. and excited to kind of chat around some new stuff that we work on, and of course, answer your questions. Reminder: if you have a question that you want answered, type question in all caps, followed by your question, and then I'll go ahead and make sure I get to it. Um, so let's go ahead and dive in. Let's see. Um, Today, we're going to start off talking about a new test that's going to be running probably next week or the week after. We're seeing some good signs. Excuse me. We're seeing some good signs around the online now status. So we're going to add a toggle that will be tested. So users, when they go to the GM search, can toggle for GMs that are online now, and they can essentially sort by that. That'll be testing probably in 2 or 3 weeks. So it'll kind of show the GMs that are online now. Druckle, there not seem to be any tech issues. Is this really office hours? Here's what's funny. At the old studio / office, we had really dialed in the office hours and there weren't any tech issues. When I moved, it's kind of like a settling issue, you know? Really got to figure it out. So the online status is something that'll be coming in the next 2 to 3 weeks as we work on that, where it's a kind of a filter by GMs that are online now. Let's see. That's a secret project. Can't talk about that. That's also a secret project. Can't talk about that. GM availability. GM availability. That is a new project that we are working on. We did some tests around this, and we saw some promising results that users were looking for GMs that match their availability. And the availability that was used on GM availability was just the game masters currently scheduled games. So if I am a user and I go to the site, boop, 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 and I say I want to find a game master who's available on Fridays at 7, the database was just going to say, hey, show me all game masters who have a game Fridays at 7. Now, obviously, that's terrible for the user because like that GM probably can't run a game because they're already running a game Friday at 7. And if a player is looking to find a game Friday at 7, they're likely going to be on the marketplace side looking for games, not for game masters, right? But what we did is when we did this filter, we did it because we want to see as quickly as possible would people engage with this filter, or would they use it? We noticed that they did. They were using it often. But it wasn't leading to meaningful conversions because it was providing bad availability. So what we did is we ran a test for engagement. Were people using this filter? They did. So now we are working on the GM availability where you as a game master will be able to put in your availability in a more meaningful way. And then users on GM search will be able to go ahead and look for GMs that match their availability. And if you're not running a game at that time, they can go ahead and see you like, oh, cool. I want to book you for a private game, or I would love to find a game. There's no other GMs that are running this. Would you be open to starting and recruiting for a game for this? Question. Brittany Scott, 8,240 asks, what is the filter used for bounties? I have several show up that are not systems I run. What is the filter used for Brittany Scott, 8,240. Can you rephrase your question? Because I don't quite understand it. But I will happily answer it. So GM availability is something that's been worked on, but GM availability is hard. GM availability is really hard. But the idea is GM availability is something that we think is going to be very valuable with kids games. It's going to be something very valuable with in-person games, and it's going to be very valuable for private games. Now, one of the ways that we're going to test how well it works is we are bringing back the private booking button. Before, private booking buttons led right to checkout, and essentially was like, oh, I want to book this GM privately. A lot of players were like, whoa, I'm not ready to book them privately. I just kind of like, we noticed it led to a lower conversion rate, right? A lower onboarding rate. So what the private booking button will do in the test for GM availability will be it will create a message that essentially is like, hey, I would like to book you for a private game. And we're hoping we're going to be tracking the button clicks of that button to show intent. I want to book a private game. So if we see that this filter does lead to an increase in people using this button, then we're going to assume that this is helping people find GMs for private booking. So that's kind of the thought process that we're going through with the private booking side of the business. Doink the Poet asks, I have been working on my own tabletop RPG for a long while now. How do I host the game with Start Playing? Just approved to GM today. Doink the Poet, I would recommend to take the onboarding. Doink the Poet, I would also recommend to check out the FAQ about how games are added. If it is a custom homebrew game, there is an option to run a homebrew game. There's also an option to run a playtest game. There's also an option to run an indie game. You can see those when you're selecting game system at creation. Falcon Forge Fantasy question. Will D&D 2014 be added to starter set bounty? Currently, we only run 2024 games. It will actually only be 2024. 2014 won't be added to the starter set. But I can't get much more into that for the time being. Okay, so GM availability, some really cool stuff. I'm really excited about that test. There is some very interesting aspects to how we're going to roll out availability. For example, you as the game master will not have unlimited availability. So you can't say, I'm available for 127 hours or 152 hours. Actually, how many hours are in a week? It's 170, something like that. But essentially, you will have a limited amount of hours that you can be available for. You can't just say you have blanket availability. You have to have a more thoughtful working hours. So if you want to say, like, I'm available Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 o'clock because your kids are in school, you can put in that availability. But you can't put in, I'm available 24/7 because that's unrealistic. And we feel that it promotes a really bad environment. You as GM to say, I'm available 24/7. We think it's better when you're really thoughtful about the hours that you plan, that you're available to run games. Thank you, Warlock. 168 hours. So I believe it's going to be like 80 hours that you can like say that you're available for. So there's a little bit of like, we don't expect you to be working 8 hours, but the idea is like that way you can have a lot of flexibility. Like, well, I'm available these hours, but I might not be running games all of them. Brittany Scott 8240 asks, I see bounties for aliens. I will run 5e, 5.5e, Daggerheart, and Shadowdark. Is there a way to filter out the bounties, the ones I don't run? There is not. But if it is too much of a concern, or you don't want to be bothered down with the other bounties, let us know. We're happy to remove you from the beta for the time being. But right now, there is no way to filter out bounties. You have to see all of them that come through. But if you want to be removed from it for the time being until we launch a more official version that has filters, more than happy to. But right now, it is, you see everything that comes in all the time. More of a question. Yeah, okay, no worries. Let's see. What was the other? Let me go ahead and pull this up. Let's see. Then no, that's a secret. Can't talk about that right now. Okay. We are going to be running a test, which requires new GMs who are applying to join Start Playing. They will need to get the 5 reviews before joining Start Playing. It's kind of a mix of data, and I think we really won't see the results until we do a test. But when we introduced the application, we saw a huge increase in the quality of GMs that were joining, because a lot of low quality GMs were essentially like, I'm not going to take an application. That's too much work. We also see a lot of GMs join, and they lie about the fact that they have 5 people that would vet for them to be a pro GM. And if there aren't 5 people that would say, yes, you should be a pro GM, yes, I would vouch for this person, I would be a good reference for this person, then I think maybe you're not at the place in your professional GM journey to be running games professionally yet. And we are going to run a test that essentially says, hey, before you can submit your application, you have to get 5 references. You have to get 5 people that say, yeah, this game master is awesome. So that is a test we're going to be running. Um, and that'll be running sometime next month, I believe. Maybe it's going to start at the end of this month. There's not much more I can talk on that, but it is something I think is going to be generally pretty helpful because it helps set a little bit more of a standard that you need these references. It's also something that's coming out of kids games. You're going to need 5 references from parents with kids games. So that's going to be really helpful when we when we start off with kids games. But it kind of, I thought to myself, I think this would be great for the core product. And if you aren't a GM who has that, it's not hard to do. It's not hard to find 5 players to run a game for. And hopefully, if you're running a great game, they're going to want to vouch for you. And I think that is a really important part that you can go out and you could accept criticism from people that say, no, I don't want to vouch for you, and being okay with that and going out and trying to work on yourself to get to the point where there are 5 people that are going to say, yeah, I will vouch for you. Rather than just a kind of an honor system that, yes, there are 5 people and their name is Dave and Dave and Dave and Brave and Dave. So that launches probably 2 or 3 weeks. Let's see. Myth Vale Chronicles says, question, important question for everyone living not in the US. Did you ever consider to give us better possibility than Stripe cutting us from about 40% income in Europe? I don't understand that question, but I think the question is, have you ever considered things other than Stripe? We've actually looked at several other providers, but they were much more limited in what they were able to provide, and they also were more expensive. One of the things is Stripe is so big, so secure. There's so many things that Stripe does, and at scale, it's very valuable. And that is why we've chosen with it. There are a number of competitors, but they just are not able to compete on the level that Stripe is with all of the features and the integrations that we use Stripe for and the price that we have. Let's see. Dream Sleeper question: how would we get references from parents for the kids games? We hope no. You got to go out. Dream Sleeper. That's you. You got to. The thing is, we're not going to help you get references. The idea is right now we're not training people up to become great GMs for kids. We're gonna the beta release for kids is only GMs who already have experience with kids. We're not going to become a training ground for GMs to run games for kids. We're only going to be focusing on the program that starts by GMs who already have experience running games for kids. In the future, there'll probably be a great training program, but right now, the focus will be on GMs who already know how to run games for kids, who have great experience running games for kids, people who have been volunteering at their local Boys and Girls Club, people who have been teachers, people who have not only the work experience, but the life experience to work with kids and GM for them. And there's a lot of GMs out there that do this. TGF Tavern, do you suggest also having people from a convention of an event review you? Absolutely. Absolutely. Fantastic idea. Dream Sleeper. That's also a great place to have parents review you. If you're running games at conventions, there's a lot of those conventions. I'm seeing tons of kids with their parents playing those games. That is a great place to get your experience running games with kids. Question: how do we let you know we have that experience? Brittany Scott, 8,240. So there will be a kids application process, much like the Game Master application, which is a separate application, which is very thorough because there's also this huge background check that it involves as well. That will kind of go and vet a lot of the experience as well. Some experience can't be vetted because it's not part of like job experience. Some things like, oh, I was a teacher. Cool. We can vet that. Things like, oh, I volunteered at this organization, that's a little bit harder. That stuff that we're kind of still working on. We're talking with lawyers about how we want to go about that stuff. And we're talking with third-party companies that do a lot of vetting and background checks. Dreams of my friend is a principal at a school. Would I be able to ask her to let me GM for kids, and the parents review me after I GM? Absolutely. I do not see why not. That seems like a fantastic way to start running games for kids. Wendy Crescent. Oh no, that's not a question. Okay. Um, all right. We are doing a lot of work. There's still so much work on kids games. Like, remember, I've said it once and I'll say it again. We don't want to do the bare minimum for kids games. We want to be amazing stewards for kids games. We want to, like, wherever the line of compliance is, we want to be above it. We don't want to do the bare minimum. We want to provide an amazing experience for kids. We want kids to be safe. We want kids to thrive. We want kids to be happy. And that is taking a lot of work, and it's really expensive. I mean, the legal framework alone is giving me gray hairs, but it's all in the service of making an amazing kind of application and product for kits. And I think that it's going to be really beneficial once we launch that. But there's a lot of work that goes into it. And so, we're still in the very beginnings of building out the application for kids games, the GM, profile for kids, et cetera, et cetera. So we just started kind of building out some framework about like sub profiles. So if you're a parent, you can have like the profile for your kid that when they join a game. So, like little Annie is in this game and little Billy is in this game, yada, yada, yada. Okay. But Nina's asking, how is the progress on kids games going? It is going. It is slow because there's a lot of things that like are unknowns, and it just requires compliance, and it requires working with. We have a wonderful educational consultant. We have our own counsel that we work with. We have 2 different legal counsel that we work with, but we're going out for a third legal counsel that is more focused in edutech and is more focused in kids service side of the law, so that we have a kind of an industry expert that we're working with. And so we're talking with a bunch of different lawyers right now, kind of figuring out like who's going to be the best partner to move forward with. And we're also just talking with a number of folks who are kind of industry experts in the edutech and kids online service space. And it's been fantastic, but it's a slow thing because it's not something I want to like, when I think about the startup world, the main thing you hear often is like move fast and break things. This is a type of thing that I don't want to move fast and break. I want to move slow, thoughtfully, and launch really well and make it impactful. Will all ages games remain where they are on the site? Yes. They might show up on the kids side. That's still kind of a little wonky. We're not 100% sure where that's going to be. It might show up on the kids side. It might stay on the current side. Kind of unsure. Right now, my gut is saying it stays where it is. And the kids side is just like specifically kids games. Nina, there's not much to help with yet, but I really appreciate you wanting to be there. But a lot of the stuff that we're working with it's really just stuck in these like legal frameworks that we're working with, waiting for like experts to chime in on like how to move forward with next steps and requirements and things that we need to think about, and then figure out how to build around that. Jack 599. Some of my original 5 reviews were from parents in my home kids games. Would those reviews be able to count towards the kids games application, or would I need to get new ones? You might have to get new ones, or you might have to have them reapply. Or you might also have to just like include your message like, hey, these reviews are actually from kids already. And everything would be on a case-by-case basis. The kids application is going to be really fine-tooth comb. We're going to be very it won't be something that's going to be like, hey, let's just scale this and try to approve as many people as possible. We're probably going to close applications after so many GMs and just focus on that while we work on the kind of like the beta, the MVP of kids games and how that runs before we start expanding it to even further. That also allows for instances like yours where like, hey, actually I already have some review from parents about running games for kids. I'd probably include that in your application, like, hey, I have this, and a message to support so they can manually review those. Will you need to add a certain flag to indicate it's a kids games, TGFT Tavern? So I will say this, team, there's a lot about kids games that I can't go into right now because we've only started building like some groundwork, and a lot of these questions seem like as if we have built everything. And I don't want to answer questions when we haven't fully built out everything because so much could change, right? So a lot of this stuff we could go into, but it's theoretical, right? So kids games will live wholly separate from the other games. They will not be on the same search. They will have their own page. So you won't see kids games and adults games crossing over. I'm free to run 2 4-hour games a day. I've been told over and over not to list multiple listings. The problem is I'm free to run games, but told not to list. What's the best thing to do? Hey, hey, shh. It's okay. It's okay. You're okay. You're okay. You're okay. Funk. Yeah. The thing is, like, if you just list all those, people are going to see your listings, and they're going to see that no one is joining those. So if you just list, hey, look at all this time I'm free. Look at all these empty games. People are going to see empty games, and that's what they're going to judge you by. So what I would say is focus on 1, 2 time slots that you have and really try to drive those up. The thing is, when you're a brand new GM, getting those first games is going to be the hardest thing. Please go ahead and go to the Discord, type !tips, TIPS. There is 99 tips about how to get your first game off the ground that I have shared in there. And in those 99 tips, there's also five other articles that spin out of that with another like 20 something tips. Those are all things that will help you get set up. Come back if you've done all 200 of those tips and you're still having trouble. Okay. Let's go ahead and move on to next. Player bounties. Player bounties. Player bounties. Player bounties. That is something really interesting. Player bounties. So, player bounties is a new feature we're working on. So let's say Valentine decides that she wants to book a game. Okay. Valentine's like, I would love to play a game. When do you want to play? Wednesday? Does that sound good? Okay. So Valentine wants to play a game on Wednesday at 7. And Valentine's like, I would love to play a game of Brindlewood Bay on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. I actually want to play in a campaign of Brindlewood Bay Wednesdays at 7. And that's what she wants to do. But guess what? There is no games on Start Playing of Brindlewood Bay at 7 p.m. Well, that kind of sucks. Well, then she can go to this new feature, which is a player-driven bounty, kind of like a game concierge, if you will. So she goes and she fills out a few details. One, she wants to play at Wednesday at 7. She wants to play Brindlewood Bay. She wants to play on Discord, and she wants to play on Owlbear Rodeo. And 10 other things. And also that she's like, she wants to pay $25 a seat, or maybe 30 or whatever. She fills out all these details. This will show up on the GM bounty board as, hey, a new player bounty has shown up by Valentine. And Valentine wants this game, right? And so, you okay? You all right? You be all right? Okay, good. Yeah, all right, you can go back to napping. And you, the GM, will see this bounty. I'm like, wow, that's a great bounty. I love Brindlewood Bay. I'm a great GM for Brindlewood Bay. I've actually run it 20 times on the site already. You can go ahead and hit submit. And you click on the bounty and you click submit. And you fill out a quick template or you submit an adventure that you've already made. And it sends it over to the player. Now, 2 other GMs can do that as well. Essentially, a player-driven bounty can accept 3 proposals. Once these 3 proposals are sent over, the bounty is closed. The player then has these 3 bounties to look at, these 3 submissions, these kind of 3 things to review. And the player's like, wow, these are all great. The thing is, they're all at the same price, right? Because the player sets the price they're willing to pay. The floor is $20, so they can't select less than $20. But we realize when we ask players to submit a price that they're willing to pay, they never pick the floor. They pick a number of prices, right? And so they pick what they want to play. But the idea is now they're picking between the different GMs who've submitted. So they're like, okay, well, now I have to choose what GM I feel is the best fit for what kind of game I want to play. What adventure fits my ideal type of play as well. I click on this one. This GM looks like they're a good fit. I like the way the adventure runs. I can click in the adventure and I can go ahead and book it. The other GMs will get a notification like, hey, your submission didn't get chosen. This way, GMs don't all compete for too much. There's only three, right? We don't want the player to have unlimited choices. We want them to have a finite amount, right? And we think three is kind of the perfect number to choose from. The classic lucky door prize. So that's how theoretically we are looking at building player-driven bounties. And of course, as it runs, and if we see it successful, it'll start to be more limited. So, for example, if you have never run Brindlewood Bay, it wouldn't show up for you. So you have to have run this game before. Maybe on day 2, it shows up for people who have Brindlewood Bay listed as a game they run, but they've never actually run on the platform. Or maybe it only shows up if you've actually reviewed Brindlewood Bay on the platform. There's some limiting options to give GMs that we feel are like, hey, like not only are you running games on the platform, you have great reviews, but you're more likely to be the best fit for this request as well, based off the data we've collected. So there's some interesting stuff that we'll explore as if it succeeds. But we think this is a great solution to the idea of a custom request. Now, it also could be like, hey, Valentine is actually doing a bachelorette party and wants to do a game, wants to get all their friends together. They can do a buyout, right? The other idea is like, oh, I don't know anyone else. I just want to play this game. And the GM's like, oh, I would love to run this. They at least get one player set to start the campaign off. So this is for campaigns. This is for one shots. This is for anything. Let's see. Question: has SPG ever looked at enabling players to create saved searches for games that can filter on time slots in game systems? Yes, but GM Old Scratch. The reason why we have not prioritized that is 85% of players never rebook with another GM. They book with one GM and they are set, and they have an incredible retention, and they just never rebook. They might rebook, but they rebook with that same GM. So most players who drive the largest amount of revenue are set after their first booking. So the idea of that, like having a save search for repeat, is just like, it's not something that we see as a huge issue for most players who are driving the bulk of bookings. It is a definitely cool feature that is eventually something that we will get into, the idea of a safe search or kind of a recommended search, things like that. Right now, if you have favorite GMs, you could view all your games by your favorite GMs, right? That is something that has. Very few players do that. So it shows that there's also a low appetite for a type of saved search based off of your favorite things. Let's see. Let's see. R. Martickle, question: webinars when? Probably May or June. Sarah's working on a reformatted version of webinars that's a little bit easier to run and doesn't take up as much of her time, and it's a little faster. Let's see. Question: for campaign bounties, does everything in your template need to match the player's preferences? Yes, Clarissa 1643. Yeah, if the player's like, I want Albert Rodeo, and you're like, well, I'll do it with Roll20. guess what? You shouldn't apply because you're not doing it the way the player wants. There's so many GMs that like, why don't we just give them what they want? Um, and that's the problem. Is like if we there's going to be a GM that can match that, and if not, the player is going to have to reassess their wants and kind of come back. Um, what if only 1 to 2 GMs sign up for the bounty and it waits there for a while? Dreamsaver, great question. So there is a kind of expiry, essentially, like, and the thing is, like, a player can book any of those before all 3 show up. The player can book it immediately when 1 shows up. But once a player books in one of those, the bounty closes, so the GMs wouldn't see that anymore. So a GM can't continue to apply to something once the player books. Corey Fisher, 3015. Question: would there ever be a desire for a feature to connect like-minded players with GMs more immediately than a new player needing to search through games or GM searches? Corey Fisher, 3015, asked, would there ever be a desire for a feature to connect like-minded players with GMs more immediately than a new player needing to search through games or GM searches? Corey Fisher, can you rephrase that question? Or maybe tell me what you're getting at, because I don't quite understand. I mean, right now, that's kind of what they're doing. Rephrase your question, because I feel like I was going to answer it, but I feel I was going to answer it in an assuming what I think you meant. The Robert Defendi, I noticed that some learn to play games are flagged as learn to play by the site. However, none of my games for beginners are being flagged. What constitutes as a learn to play game? You'd have to actually get flagged as a top GM, and then you get into this bounty program. From that bounty program, those learn to play games are games that are from a learn to play quiz flow. And that is the bounty board that I was talking about earlier. Clarissa, 1643. Follow up, that sounds really rough for indies like Brindlewood Bay. We've already seen bounty board listings expire after a week because nobody wants to run Blade Runner in Foundry, for example. Clarissa, 1643. Well, that might be the case. Overall, the bounty board is a huge success. We've seen more bookings and more success on the bounty board than we've seen expired listings. While you might have seen that one, and I think there was a Lancer bounty that then came in the next day, and the person had changed their VTT preference to no preference afterwards, which ended up getting picked up. So the amount of bounties that expire is very, 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 very small. That is why it's not a big concern. The amount of GMs that are in the program and the amount of GMs that have interest in these different systems are pretty vast. So that kind of edge case is not what I'm really concerned with. It's also something that's really easy to solve. The idea is, if I want something and I'm given something that is not what I want, I'm not being served as a customer. If I'm like, yo, give me some ice cream, I would love peanut butter chocolate chip ice cream, and you give me vanilla, like, you've already failed the customer, right? But if I'm like, I would love peanut butter ice cream, and you're like, so we're out, but we have these two. I'm like, okay, great, I'll have that instead. So the idea of being serviced, not getting what I'm expected, that's kind of the problem, right? But right now, the amount of bounties that are expiring is so small compared to the amount of bounties that are succeeding that it's not something I'm too concerned with on the matchmaking side. But Clarissa, your head's in the right spot, right? You're really concerned about the ideas like, what if we can't service the person, right? Are they just going to leave? And right now, we're noticing people come back. Now, there is tons of different funnel analytics that we look at. Our bounty, like, and one of the things that you were talking about, bounties expiring, is one of the things we measure. And when things don't work, then we start trying to figure out, like, why are they working and how do we make them work? So here's a great example. If we started realizing that, like, oh my gosh, certain games have a really of amount of people interested in different VTTs, we would probably come up with a solve for that. So if you chose a game that had maybe it was out of the top 100, right? It was a really niche game. We would maybe not let you choose a VTT. Maybe that would be our solve if we saw this to be a problem. So what I'm saying is, if it's a problem, we'll find a fix for it. Okay. Let's see. Next question. What are your parameters that make you a top GM and get you access to the bounty board? Right now, nothing. Right now, the bounty board is actually just a snapshot of people who hit a top GM statistics. We are making the top GM metrics dynamic so that it will start auto putting people into the top GM. Before it was like we just took a snapshot at a certain time. So a lot of people are top GMs and we just never put them in there because we took a snapshot and we weren't doing it dynamically because we never built a system that made that dynamic. There's a bunch of things, but some of the most important stuff is, do you have good reviews? Do you have reviews? Do you have a good site retention rate? And do you have a good retention rate? Do people who play with you continue to play with you? So if you are running campaigns, do your players come back time and time again? And if people play with you on the site, do they come back and continue to play on the site? Let's see, along with like 20 other metrics. Question, are most of the bounties launching with multiple players by game time, or have they mostly been one player at a time? So 70% of bounties are one player, and then 20% are two players, and then like 4 or 5% are 3, 4, 5, 6 players. Is there anything to stop GMs and players from grouping up in person? There's a lot of GMs who use StartPlaying as their in-person tool. Because not only does it just like do the auto charge, so people like they're charged before the session, but there's tons of GMs who use StartPlaying for their in-person games. So absolutely. What do GMs get for hitting 1,000 games ran? Right now, just a gold status. But there might be something else if we ever did something like badges, but I don't think we're ever do badges. But if we did badges, there'd be something cool. Do you have metrics on one shots versus campaigns? Probably. I don't know what you mean though. TGF Tavern. Would you suggest private games for those in-person games? Well, I mean, if they are a private game, absolutely. But if they're a public game, I would keep it on your site and just like have it listed. Dreamsleeper, I'm 180 games away from 2,000. Congrats. Okay, let's see. Player bounties, kids profile, online now toggle, affiliate vetting, game recommendation credit, conversion credit. Okay, that's all the stuff I can talk about today. TGF Tavern campaigns by a massive margin. That's a huge margin. There was some talk about PvP games not being properly tagged, so they appear in the main search. If they are a play by post game, but they're not being tagged as the game style play by post, then that's search manipulation. They're just that game is just not tagging itself correctly, and just should be reported. But I was confused on it because there's another side of things of we're doing some cool stuff with our search in the future on like when you type search aliases, and essentially an alias is if I type Curse of Strahd, or COS, the system would know they mean Curse of Strahd, so show any game that is using the module Curse of Strahd, rather than just look for games that have the title Curse of Strahd. That's some stuff we want to do in the future around our search. So the idea of like instead of looking for games that have PvP in the title, look for games that have the PvP as the game style and show those. So that's where my confusion was in that, Nina, when I was talking to that person in Discord. But people who have PvP in the title but are not tagging their games as play by post, they're just breaking the search manipulation rules. Yeah, DW Richter, first session reliability. I believe is the likelihood that when someone signs up for a session with you, the first session that they sign up for you, the likelihood to play in the next 2 weeks. So if you give a free first session 0, that's likely going to throw things off. But let's say I sign up to play a game with you on March 14th, and I sign up today. But you then give me a free session 0. So then I end up playing with you March 22nd. Your first session reliability should be 100% because I ended up actually playing with you. Because I ended up playing with you in those 2 weeks. Manatee Mayhem. I'm new to start playing games this week. Is there a place to view site-wide analytics, for example? What new games are being sought out? Or what times are underserved? Manatee Mayhem. Go to Discord. In Discord, type !tips. Read that entire article. They'll tell you the times. They'll give you everything you need to know. Dream Sleeper question. We've gotten a lot of requests for solo duet games, PvP and otherwise. Will there be a playstyle portal for those sometime? Possibly. I don't see why not. Question: is there any way to make that a priority? I have games properly tagged by hundreds of games. I mean, I would just flag them. It's probably the same GM. It's easy to go and just hit the flag button. Can you type tips anywhere in Discord or specific? I think anywhere. Manatee Mayhem. Also, take the onboarding. It's great. Do the basics first and come back after. Read the tips. Do all 99 tips. Read all that. That's the best advice I can give you. That also article will tell you why site-wide analytics isn't the thing that's going to help you. And I explain why it's not going to help you. But then I also give you some site-wide analytics in case you don't believe me. Tim Rush. So if I have a player who's been with me for 2 years, lost a job and gave me 3 months free while they search for a new job, that affects my analytics. Well, it affects your analytics a little bit, but not for first session reliability, because that player is no longer for their first session. Their first session's already passed, right? First session reliability is literally that person's first session with you. That will probably maybe affect your retention, but it affects your retention once, right? If they don't play with you or they only play with you for free for 3 months, that only affected 1 month of retention or one session of retention because they didn't continue to come back and play a paid game. But if that's your only player, absolutely, that will tank your metrics. If you have 4 other players, it likely won't take your metrics at all after that one time. If they continue playing with you, if they pay and then every other 2 sessions they drop out and they stop playing with you for 3 weeks and then they come back 3 weeks later, that's probably going to mess it up. But because there's this 2-week window, so it looks to see like, oh, that person was sick and they came back, then it usually bounces back pretty well. But if you only have one player, your metrics are going to be all over the place. But if you have a table of 5, that one player isn't going to mess with your metrics that much because it's usually going to get sewn down in the wash. But your first session reliability, that player isn't affecting those metrics at all. Okay, let's see. Soja Boy, how would you communicate to players that a game is meant to be played in person? Are there any extra safety measures for both players? So, Soja Boy, I can't actually offer you anything around in person right now. Everyone's kind of doing their own solve around that. We don't currently have in-person tooling. All I can say is there's a number of GMs who use StartPlaying as their in-person tool. But we will be doing in-person solutions this year. We will be doing some cool stuff for that. But right now, I don't have any guidance I can give you. Furuku, would you recommend running a series of one-shots or short campaigns instead of a single session? Is it worth running a one-shot? Should a one-shot be a run cheaper since they are less popular? Furuku, I would recommend going to Discord, typing !tips, and reading those 99 tips because I talk about this in there as well. Run one-shots, run campaigns, run both. Um, will there ever be a site-side GM program or test, so to say, what would decide what a pro GM or is would be side based on retention or whatever metric you currently use? Funk 3,455 gaming. Can you ask that question again? I don't quite understand what you're asking. GM Melissa 2001. What is the tilt rate metric? Mine just keeps getting lower regardless of how many games I launch. The tilt rate metric is where from when one person joins a game, what is the likelihood that in the next 2 weeks that game will go from pending to active? So if one person joins a game in 14 days, what is the percentage chance that that game will no longer be pending and will be active? So if you have one person join a game and within 10 days, 3 more people join that game, and then you make that game active, you have a tilt rate of 100%. Doink the Poet question. I use generative AI to assist me in generating some content quickly to keep the game moving. Do generated images violate the terms of service? They don't. As far as what's happening in your game, doesn't really affect the terms of service but it could affect the code of conduct. And so depending on what you're generating, that can affect the code of conduct. So I recommend checking out the code of conduct, but that does not affect the terms of service. Okay. Team, we got another 5 minutes of questions. We anonymous questions. Okay, so we have the QA for office hours. I'm gonna put this here. Okay, so this is, where is this? All right, so this is the form. Did I put it in the right one? I did. Okay, so we got one question. Oh no, we got we got a few. Okay. When is our next charity event? I'd love to run something for it. I believe our next charity event launches next week. So keep your eyes out for that. From Yona. Ryan asks, I noticed that the request booking feature was removed, but Game Master's search was not. What's the plan for Game Master's search moving forward? Is it still possible to become listed there as a new GM? Is it possible to change the session price at all? Yes, you can currently change the session price. That change session price exists in your GM profile. Okay, the question's answered. Ryan submits another question. Some listings have animated art, which is no longer possible. What's SBG's stance on the disparity between GMs who've grandfathered in certain features like this, Game Master Search, and how does SPG treat and remove features, either intentional and other intentional ones? Yeah, the juice isn't worth the squeeze on this one. There's not a good way to deprioritize these. If you do have animated art, it's not doing very well. We actually did a little thing to see like how bad is this, but it's less than like 0.2% of GMs have animated art, like a GIF, and they perform at 8x less than the regular listing. So like these GIFs aren't doing well. But to have my engineering team to build something and to just automate and just like get rid of them is not worth my engineering team's time. And it's also not worth the time for my CX team to pull off from the project they're working on to go in and manually remove these piece by piece. We have half as many this year as we did last year. So they're just falling off as time goes on. So that's why I haven't really prioritized the removal of GIFs. Let's see. Another anonymous. A GM I play with says that you removed him because he actually took payment off the platform. Is that true? I think you should be a bit more forgiving when people make mistakes. I feel like you were doing that just to be mean. That's an interesting question. So we've definitely we've definitely given folks warning before when they've made a mistake. But a lot of the times it's really clear when a GM knows what they're doing and they know they're doing it wrong. And when that's the case, we can't trust them to come back, because we've caught them. And letting them come back means that they're going to be better about not getting caught next time. Our system is pretty sophisticated, and it flags GMs every month that like might be taking users off site. And the thing is, they're continuing to use our tools. And it's one thing if you just leave, that's okay, But if you continue to use our tools, but you say that it's not worth it, then why are you using our tools? And it's taking these players that also would be like great for other GMs that we want to make sure we're putting all of our great work towards the GMs that want to be here and want to be part of this community. So while sometimes, yes, there are GMs that we are going to give a pass to because it might be their first mistake, the way the application works now, the way we catch people, it's really obvious when it's not a mistake. It's really obvious when it's intent. And our support team, they're great. They don't really make, when it comes to this kind of stuff, they don't make off the cuff decisions. They're very thoughtful about this kind of thing. So I'm sorry that your friend was removed, but when we find the kind of evidence we do, we have to act on it, and we really can't take second chances. Let's see. Let's see. What metrics do I need to optimize to become a top GM and gain access to the bounty boards? So here's a great thing: you can't actually get access to you can't actually get access to the bounty boards right now. We are still working on a way to get. We're working right now. We're building the dynamic tool that applies top GM if you meet the requirements. So, like I said, it was a test before. We essentially looked at the database, said apply these metrics. What GMs do we get? And it was like the top 30% of GMs. We said, cool, give these people this status. And then we operated from that. Now we need to make a dynamic feature that says, okay, every so often, look to see who matches these requirements, apply X status. So that's what we're working on now. And that will then be a tool that unlocks the bounty board. And so that'll be fun. But it is essentially, if you're running games on the site, you'll get access if you're running great games and your players like you and they keep coming back and playing with you. If you're brand new, it's going to be a lot harder to get it. If you've been here for, I think the fastest we saw someone get it is 4 months. As 4 months was the fastest we saw a GM be able to get a top GM. And it's because they have players that keep coming back and playing with them. So that's kind of the expectation there. It's a lot easier when you're running with 2 to 3 groups because you have more data to work with. If you have one group, it's a lot harder. If you have one group, your data swings a lot more wildly. It's a lot harder for us to gauge, is this the usual instances of like, oh, someone's sick or the GM is not showing up often. But if you are a GM who's running 3 groups a week, there's a lot more data points to assess. Like, this person is very serious. They're running their game often. They're showing up for their players. Their players are having a great time because they keep coming back. And when a player is sick, that data doesn't really impact the GM's metrics enough to throw the data off because there's so much data that's being collected. So if you're only running one group, it's going to be hard to become a top GM. But if you're running 3, 4, or 5 groups, that's really what it's going to take to become a top GM. Running multiple groups and being a GM that people want to come back and play with. Those are things that are going to make you a top GM. No, we haven't. Nina, we have not seen an increase in templates in Spanish or other languages as we launched that. But we did launch language, I believe. Or maybe it's not outlet. Let's see. Yeah, we launched the language as a filter, but it still hasn't. We haven't seen an uptick in people submitting templates in other languages dramatically. Okay. Do you see analytics that suggest how much one-shots and free games onboard players into full campaigns? Do you see analytics that suggest how much? So we don't look at free game data because it's not reliable. Free game data doesn't tell us anything because we don't know if the game actually happened. We don't know if the person actually showed up. A lot of people can go ahead and say, I played in this free game, but we don't know if they actually played in that free game because there's nothing to say they actually did. So we don't really use free game data. We do often see that people will play in a one shot and they might play with the GM before. We do know that if you play with a GM, there's a high likelihood that you'll rebook with that GM. That's just a really common thing. Let's see. Okay, I think we did it. We got to the end. I guess that means we don't have enough time to talk about anything like, oh gosh. You know what? If we have time, I think we might try to work on dark mode. I think that'd be cool. I think working on dark mode would be a great quality of life upgrade. I think a lot of gyms have requested it. And so it's one of the highest requested features. It's just one of those things where I just need to sit down and start kind of ticking out the work. And if we have enough time, the team is just so busy. There's just so much going on. But there might be a lull that we might be able to get some dark mode stuff working on. Okay, a lot of dark mode. Devin, give me dark mode and badges, and my life is yours. Unfortunately, I could give you guys. I could probably give you guys dark mode, but I don't think we could ever do badges. We had an engine meeting about it, and badges are just they're kind of a nightmare. But dark mode is probably something I can get you guys to help spare your eyes. Okay, I think, team, it's 2:00. We did it. We did it. If you all need anything else, you know where to find me and everyone else in the wonderful Discord with all y'all. I hope you have a fantastic Friday. I hope your games are amazing. And I guess the next time I see you will be at the next office hours. Thanks so much and have a great weekend. Bye, team.
We've come on down to the tavern for trouble and for fun, and to talk about the old prophecy. And we all sing songs at the tavern of the fights that we have won, and we dream about our next victory. Come away, adventure calls today, and tomorrow we'll tell of our tale. Come away, we'll see that dragon slain. But before we go, let's drink one more ale. Well, we won't burn down the tavern like the times we did before. It was not our fault, we swear honestly. But we'll do our best